Do you feel that you're playing your best all-around basketball at this point coming down the home stretch? Tonight you put up 18 points. Were you looking for your shot a little bit more tonight in the offense?
John Wall is arguably one of the fastest point guards in the NBA, but despite his speed, Washington's development as a team has been slow since his arrival 3 years ago. And I had a chance to go one-on-one with Wall and discuss his development with the team and Washington's future going forward. It's a point guards league, it's no question about that. From your perspective, where do you feel that you rank among some of the other point guards in the league? They always talk about the elite point guards, guys like Parker, Chris Paul. Where do you feel that you rank in that stature?
Well, it's me. I put myself on the top. You know what I mean? That's just how competitive I am. But I put myself somewhere in the top 5, top 10.
Before there was Jeremy Lin and Linsanity, there was Vince Carter and Vinsanity as he took the NBA by storm in Toronto as Air Canada. Double-doubles from Darren Williams and Brook Lopez led the way for the team, along with strong bench play from C.J. Watson and Andre Blatch. And find out what all four had to say about the Game 5 victory here in Brooklyn coming up next. Darren, one of the storylines heading in was Kirk Heinrich being out for the Bulls. What did you see differently from their defense? You had a double-double, 23 points, 10 assists. What did you see out there? Dre, what do you have to do to carry this momentum heading now into Game 6 on the road in Chicago? And that's the story from here in Brooklyn. I'm Michael Scotto reporting for Real GM as the Nets get ready for Game 6. When the Miami Heat's big three come to town, it's as if the Beatles are walking through. Do you think you guys get a little bit slighted unfairly because it's always about them? You know, they come in here like they're the Beatles sometimes, but, I mean, do you think that sometimes they don't give you enough love?
We know the deal. We know who pays the light bills in Miami.
You came from Duke. You obviously had the opportunity to play for one of the greatest coaching legends in the game at any level in Coach K. What was it like to play for him and be with him every day? How did he help you grow as a man?
And I wouldn't be the man I am today or the player that I am today without that experience. And it's the reason why he's the best coach of basketball right now. He's just a tremendous coach, but even a better person.
I don't know how Eric Spoelstra would feel about that, but how would you compare the two in their styles? How are they similar and different?
This is your first year as an all-star player. What's been the biggest difference for you so far this year? I see the smile on your face. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man. It's a great honor.
And you're here now in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. You've also been in Madison Square Garden. How would you compare the two experiences?
You know what? It wasn't very loud in there today. Actually, I was pretty disappointed. I was expecting more.
You've always had Joe Johnson, but this year you guys are without him. It's you and Al as the anchors of this team. Going forward into this playoff run, what is the key for the two of you guys to lead this Hawks team farther than this team has ever gone before in your tenure? And Josh, last question before I let you go. The Atlanta Hawks next season have $22 million on the cap. It's one of the lowest of any teams. What does that say to you about the direction of this organization? Have you been given any indication of what the plan is for the future?
So, Mike, what do the Nets have to do to get back on track on Saturday?
Well, the first thing is the Nets have to come out aggressive early and sustain that success, especially in the third quarter. This team's Achilles heel all season long. They can give a guy like Brook Lopez trouble, who's a little more fundamentally sound, very much like a Tim Duncan. He's methodical about his moves.
A season that began with high expectations from owner Mikhail Prokhorov, who said this team could be an Eastern Conference Finals contender, ends tonight with a Game 7 loss in the first round to the Chicago Bulls. And for the last time, the Nets will close out the lights here at Barclays Center. And the uncertain offseason for the Brooklyn Nets begins with interim head coach P.J. Carlesimo's future uncertain. The team has a couple of trade chips in Chris Humphries and Marshawn Brooks, but limited cap flexibility going forward. We'll see what moves Billy King has in store for this team. I'm Michael Scotto for Real GM, reporting for the final time here in Barclays Center. Chris Copeland has waited 29 years to live his dream and play in the NBA, and he has that opportunity now here with the New York Knicks. And Chris spoke with Real GM one-on-one in an exclusive interview to discuss his time in New York and what the future holds for him. How about Coach Woodson? Obviously, he's the one giving you the opportunity to play in the minutes. He's been hard on you at times, wanting some more defense out of you. How's your relationship with Coach, and how has he helped you improve your game, both on and off the court?
You know, it's funny, you talk about the relationship. I see a lot of people talk about I'm in the doghouse with him. I think he's pushing me.
After the playoff experience, definitely safe to say that New York would be your first choice to return here?
I love it here. I'd love to stay the rest of my career.
Lance Stevenson was known around New York as a star at Lincoln High School, and now he's behind me. They called him born ready, and he certainly arrived. And last question before I let you go. This is a contract year for you. Looking ahead at your future, would you ever consider playing in Brooklyn with the Nets or the Knicks maybe some point down the road? Would that be a dream come true for you?
If the opportunity comes up, I would definitely jump to it.
You came out of high school in 2005. You went to the Boston Celtics. At the time, did you feel that you were ready for the NBA transition at such a young age?
At the time, I wasn't professional. I was an amateur coming out of high school. And I think that's one thing that college will teach kids is how to be a professional, how to conduct yourself in life better. And
you mentioned about going to college. David Stern would like to implement either a 2-year rule where kids have to go to college. It's already at 1. You think that would be beneficial?
Moving on now to the boxing ring, or should I say the Titans-Texans game. The NFL Gridiron showed why it's a violent game in more ways than one. The Texans shut out the Titans in Houston 20-0, but not before the fireworks between wide receiver Andre Johnson and cornerback Cortland Finnegan. Finnegan is known around the league as a dirty player, but it was Johnson who had him eating the turf. Johnson landed a right hook that would make Manny Pacquiao proud as both players were ejected from the game. No word yet if Don King has booked round 2.
You can talk about history all you want, but at the end of the day, I think it comes down to how you're doing at that time. If you're hot, and it's a one-game playoff. The history doesn't matter at that point. And until next time, I'm Michael Scotto, and thank you for joining us.